welcome to the Spiritual Counseling TV network, and welcome today to your weekly spiritual guidance for the week of March 28th to April 4th of 2022. My name is Christie Ramirez and I'm your soul coach. So this is the week of transition between March and April. There's a lot going on. Remember, this is a video today where I give you more of my intuitive thoughts, and make sure that you watch the Instagram live for the extended weekly spiritual guidance, where we actually bring the cards that we use for our dailies, which includes my affirmations, our angel messages for healing, and our spiritual guidance from source. And we go deeper, like almost 45 minutes to an hour, into this energy that I'm about to reveal to all of you today. All right, so before we actually get started, I hope that you all had a beautiful week last week, because what happened last week is actually tying in with what's going to happen this week. Okay, so this is the week where we're definitely closing out March. And what March was about, it had a lot to do with restructuring, rearrangement. And it's actually interesting because God showed me a metaphor that I'm going to reveal to all of you today. And I also had a very powerful dream last night, which definitely has messages for us this week. So the first metaphor that God showed me was actually when I was taking out my laundry, folding my white socks, and I have a whole bunch of different same white socks, but there are like 3 different types that I have of the same brand, but like one of them is like chunkier, one of them is thinner, and then some of them are dirtier, and some of them are like brand new white, right? Okay, so the point of the matter of this metaphor is that I was rearranging the socks around. There was 2 socks that didn't belong together, and again, this is a metaphor for maybe relationships that you're in that don't belong together, that are not the perfect fit, they're not the perfect match. For one of the matches that I had there, because I couldn't find the other one in the moment, but guess what, it came later in the next laundry set, meaning that it was just took a little longer, or maybe there was just a delay in the universe for whatever reason, right? And one of them was like dirtier, so it was one of the older sets that I had bought, and one of them was like a brand new white one. So they obviously didn't go together, right? Because if you were to put them on, you would definitely see the difference. One of them is like a little dirtier, almost kind of black, and the other one's bright white. So obviously they don't match together. And then another pair was a chunky white one that was like one of my favorites, because it's the rare ones, and they're more expensive because it has more wool in it, right? It has more fabric, so it's more expensive, and it was alone. I couldn't find the other pair, and then of course I did find it, and I think also I had mismatched one of the white ones, but it was the thin ones, okay? And then I found the other thin one, that they were both white, because those were the second pairs that I had bought. And then the whiter that were dirty were the ones that are usually the older ones that I don't really wear to go out. I usually wear it for like indoor uses, right? Like maybe even like during the night. So that's what I'm trying to get at. There's a lot of rearrangement that's happening this week. These are these major life decisions that we're making. Maybe this is the crossroads that you were at. Should I choose the old sock, or should I choose my perfect match? Which obviously, that shouldn't even be a question, because you already know the answer, right? You need to choose the one that matches your DNA. The perfect career for you, the perfect environment for you. This is what we're also rearranging, believe it or not, is our environment. Rearranging and restructuring so that we feel at ease, we feel at home. And we also feel like the energy is free flowing, because if you have mismatched socks, that's energy that's not flowing. There's a block there, right? It doesn't look right, and it's not going to look good when you put it on your outfit, right? It's going to look like something's off, weird. And that's this weird off feeling that we've been having for quite a few months, believe it or not, and maybe even for like 1 or 2 years, since this whole, you know, change and shift in this world has happened in 2020, right? This is where I'm getting at. This is almost like the closing of cycle from what's happened in 2020, getting the clear revelation as to what's the best decision for you and your future. Because no more are we thinking now for just this moment. You know, I think that that's been a great mistake that many people have made. And many of us are excluded from that mistake because, as a matter of fact, God has shielded us so much that we've actually been isolated and stripped away from society. So we haven't even had the chance to make these kind of mistakes. But I'm speaking right now to the people who are more immersed within the collective, who spend more time outside, okay, and who are living still their life despite what's happened since 2020. They've almost like resisted to stop the flow of their rhythm of their life, right? They're still living that old lifestyle. And I think that, you know, I'm going to go more extended into this weekly spiritual guidance, which I do live on my Instagram. Make sure that you follow me at Christie Ramirez _ soul coaching, because I think that there's just so much energy, and I don't want to go over 20 minutes. But if we get into, I'll talk about the dream actually in that video. Let's do that because I want to kind of finish this topic and idea that I have. I think that a lot of people who since 2020 have tried to continue the kind of lifestyle that they had prior. Maybe they were just resisting. Maybe it was almost like a spiritual rebellion, and it could even be so unconsciously in a way, right? Because many of us awoken ones have seen this as an opportunity for change, and we've completely changed our lifestyle around. And we awoken light workers, you can say, see it as almost like a forceful decision where we don't have a say in it. Like it's like yes or yes in a way, because we have a direct communication with God, right? But not everybody has this direct communication with God. And so they wanted to do things their own way, and they're actually still listening to their ego, whether they know it or not, okay? Because they're asleep. It's almost like zombies in a way. And I almost see this, you know, if you see really closely, if you're really a good observer. Like for me as a psychologist, I'm a very good observer, and I always see beyond like the veil of illusion, which it's like their flesh, right, what they're presenting. But I think that at an internal soul level, it's almost like they're like completely like unawoken. They're just completely turned off. So it is almost like they're like possessed in a way, but they don't even know it. So they've been trying forcefully to live a life that they were living prior, even though it wasn't the moment, and God was actually providing an alternative that might be better, but they didn't see the better in it. Because usually when God offers these alternatives, it does come with sacrifice. It's not just like he gives a lot of blessings, but it's not without some sort of sacrifice, right? And this is all over the Bible, written all over the Bible, right? Where the prophets had to sacrifice, like for example, a lamb. This is what Easter is all about for them, Passover, right? So this is metaphoric. I'm not telling you to sacrifice an animal, but this is about sacrificing something in our life for something greater. This is where we're willing to let go of the old. And if you have issues deciding what to release, right? Because maybe everything's good in your life, but again, remember what I just said right now. Maybe everything is good in your life, but it's not great. Everything might be good, but there's not one single thing there that's great. And you can have one great thing and then maybe other things that are not so great, that they're not good. But that's almost like the sacrifice, because nothing is perfect, right? So we don't want to be mediocre, okay? Because you, by settling for everything that's just good, complacent, just like no drama, and I'm not telling you to embrace bad drama, but if nothing's exciting, that's what I mean, right? You're just in a relationship because it's easy. You're settling, so that's mediocrity, right? And we don't want to settle for mediocrity, because if you want to be something great in life, you need to be willing to create a little chaos for something greater. And that's part of the sacrifice, right? When I sacrificed almost like the comfort of my old life, I didn't realize the greatness that I could have had, that I have right now, by almost choosing to let go of what I thought was the best for me in that moment, which I don't know, because only God knows, right? And so this is a little puzzle for you all to figure out today. What's that missing puzzle piece in your personal life? Because everybody's life is different. And this is definitely where soul coaching sessions come in, for me to help you decide in your personal life what it is that needs to shift. And I know that a lot of you are going to have like this hesitancy to make these life decisions, because again, they're big decisions. And if you're not sure, that's where you consult me, because maybe you're not going to make the right decision if you're not in your clear mind. All right, so you definitely want someone's advice there that's going to help you, who is in spiritual alignment, to make the right decision for your life. And these can affect your other people in your life. Like, let's say you are dealing with maybe a marriage that you want to get out of, or a long-term relationship, and maybe there's children involved. That's something serious, right? Because these children are going to be affected more than the adults taking the decision, making this decision. All right. And I've done a lot with couples therapy in my life, seeing a lot of clients who had children involved. And it's usually the children that are more affected than the adults themselves, because the adults, at the end of the day, they want a divorce to move on. So for them, it's not going to be that great of an issue to move on. Only maybe the person that's still in love, but the other person is going to be very much easier. But it's the children that were attached to their parents, if those are their biological parents. But if it's like, let's say, a relationship that maybe one of those people is not the biological parent, it's a usually easier breakup than if both of them were the biological parents of that child. Okay, so that's something that might help your decision as well. Because if that other person is just in your child's life because you were dating, it's not going to be that big of an impact as if they were both a biological parent. Okay, now I don't know why I'm saying that, but I think that this has a lot to do with the relationship shifts that are happening. And this has a lot to do with the cosmic energy that's also happening. Make sure that you watch my spirituality retreats to stay on top of that energy, because there's a lot of shifts. We're in this new astrological year. This past week was the first week of the astrological year. So this is the second week of it. And this is where we're now starting to see either the repercussions of our decisions that we've made or the fruits of our labor. If we've been working hard at making these changes that God has given us already, not only the green light, but the revelation. And if we've taken action towards those revelations this past week, then we're going to be experiencing blessings. That's going to be almost like the removal of the blockages to our abundance. You know, I've been making a lot of changes in my personal life. My whole office is going through a huge renovation, which is why I haven't showed up in my office for a while. But it should be done within the next couple, maybe like 1 to 2 weeks max. And I would definitely be making videos there. But I feel like, of course, that's something maybe for you, just something else. Maybe it's a relationship, right? Because for me, I'm not in a relationship. So for me, it's business related. It's my mission related, because that's the relationship that I'm currently in, is my relationship with my mission, with my spiritual mission. So there's been a lot of changes. I've been working overtime. I actually had to take off Thursday and Friday from my podcast because it was just too much. There was actually literally no time. I was like going to sleep like at 4 in the morning, and I was just too tired to do the podcast at that time, right? I would go to sleep like 4 or 5 in the morning because I had a long day of work, plus these extra changes that I've been making, like renovations, and then taking care of myself, right? In the meantime, there was no more time. So I couldn't sacrifice myself anymore. So again, this is about knowing, again, also what to say no to, right? What can go in the back for a little while? What can wait? Because it's maybe not that important, right? It's not as important as other things, for example, right? In the moment, because they're time sensitive. And that was time sensitive because that was the week to do it. And this is the week to just finalize those finishing touches. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because Thursday, guess what? It's April. And this April is a whole new energy. And I feel like we're going to go deeper into the April energy with next week's talks in the spiritual guidance series, because this week is still a little bit of a March energy. But I feel like, yeah, I don't want to keep it too long, but I think that that's just what the energy is. We're going to need a lot of strength to power through these finishing touches, to maybe overwork a little bit more. But then trust me that the abundance that's coming after this is going to be like such a shock that's going to take you by surprise. Literally by like the left field. That's like a saying, right? So don't be scared about these changes, maybe of you just overworking just a little bit more than usual, but this is for the mission. It's needed. And don't be afraid to also make these life-changing decisions that you're being called to make during these times, because this is the moment to make them. If not, you're going to get stuck into whatever it is that you're in for your future, and you definitely don't want to be in that situation, because it's going to be that much harder to get out of it, right? It's like, let's say like you're on the verge of like, you know, I don't know, like making just major life decisions. Maybe it's like a career choice that you're not going to be able to get out of if you make, like, let's say a contract. Let's say you sign a contract, like a 6-year contract, you can't get out of that contract, right, within those 6 years. So you're stuck in that place or situation for the next 6 years. Maybe it's signing a marriage contract and you're not going to be able to get out of it right away, right? Because that's not only going to look bad on your credibility when it comes to marriage, but also on everyone that was involved in that situation and everyone who participated in that celebration, right? So you really want to be wise with these life altering decisions, because there's a lot at stake. And this is not only in the present moment, but also for our future. And guess what? The future is not in the future. The future is now. The future is here. So whatever decision you make now is your future's decision. So this is even more powerful because, you know, I've been kind of like channeling this future energy. But guess what? This future energy that we're all building up for, which is our dreams, is not that far-fetched that we think. Is actually right around the corner. And we're needing to now live as if we were living this dream right now, as if we were in the future. There's no more waiting, because this is the year of the last final threshold of metamorphosis, and the next year is our future. It's the kingdom of heaven on earth, our paradise. So be wise, my friends, my soul family, because this is the week that you've been praying for and that you've been waiting for, you've been training for your entire lifetime for. And God is here to make it happen. But you need to do your part and do as He tells you. Follow your right path and don't be afraid, because trust me that God will take care of the rest. Don't be afraid of humans, only be afraid of God. So only respect God, should I say, and honor Him. Remember that us humans are all equal. So there's no need to be afraid of your equal. Have an amazing and beautiful week, everyone. Namaste.